hear a voice down inside of me, constantly reminding me God won't let me fail. And I know the road may get rough, and I feel I've had enough. God won't let me fail. Keep believing, gotta keep holding on. Just have faith. God won't let me fail. Have faith in God. He cares. God won't let me fail. Just trust in God. He knows. God won't let me fail. Oh, if I fall, it's not the end. I'll get back up to try. God won't let me fail. This life is full of ups and downs. He placed my feet on higher ground. I'm destined to prevail. God won't let me fail. Just keep believing. Oh, you gotta keep holding on. Just have faith. God won't let me fail. Have faith in God.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to Real Talk with Cindy. Happy New Year to everyone. Good evening, Mom. Thank you for watching. Good evening, Bishop Lewis from Delaware. Please let me know where you're from. Yes. Yes. Good evening, Auntie Sue from Greenville, South Carolina. Paulette Rhodes from Orlando, Florida. Good evening. Glad to have you with me again. Bishop Lewis is watching from Delaware. God bless you, Bishop. Thank you so much. And please share and let others know that we are on. And Happy New Year to everyone. It's so good to see you here tonight. Welcome back to Real Talk with Cindy. I pray that you had a very productive day on today. For this is the day that the Lord has made, and we will rejoice and be glad in it. Our friend Lynn Reed from Ardmore, Pennsylvania, welcome. And please share, please share. My guest is here tonight, and I'm going to bring her on in a few minutes. And you're enjoying the sounds of Tamika Patton in the background. God won't let me fail. It's nice to start off the new year 2021. God won't let me fail. Even during this pandemic. I just love her singing. And please make sure you download her music. Please make sure you download her music. Tamika, good
Hello. Good evening, everyone.
So good to see you tonight. God bless you.
God bless you. Great to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know you have a show as well. But I'm so delighted to have you with me tonight. So I'm not going to keep you long, but I enjoyed that song, God Won't Let Me Fail. And who wrote that song? Did you write it?
Wow. I listen, I feel like I wrote it. That is my life.
Yeah.
I was so blessed to have the opportunity to meet and work with um, Patrick Crawford,
Hmm.
and he actually produced the song.
Okay.
Yeah, so it is, it's one of those things where you meet someone and you're talking and you're friends and you don't even realize that this person writes or is into music or
Right.
anything like that.
Wow.
And I met him and a friend of ours at Praise
Mhm.
103.9, Amir Khan. Actually, this was his affirmation. Like, he would say this to himself over and over for years.
Hmm.
And he decided that it was time to share it with the world. And so he could have called anyone,
Yeah.
and the Lord allowed him to call me and ask me to lend my voice to it. So, God Won't Let Me Fail is one of those songs that I never get tired of hearing.
Yeah.
It has blessed so many lives, and I get so many messages, inboxes, still, even still, all
Yeah.
these years later, from people that are being inspired by it. So, I thank them both, Amir and Patrick, for the opportunity to lend my voice to it. But it was very easy because it speaks to everything that I am, everything that I've gone through, still
Hmm.
going through, and
Yeah.
the song encourages me.
Right, absolutely, and that's what it's about too. Songs that will minister to the person. It's almost like a person that's preaching. That message has to minister to them before it can minister to the world. You know,
Absolutely.
and that's so true. So I want to get started with you sharing with us about your music journey. When did you begin singing, and how did that happen? And then we're going to lead up to where you are now.
Well, let's see. How long is the show? Um, I pretty much knew that I was going to be a singer from a really young age. My mom tells this funny story that she said to me. I was about 5 or 6, and she said, "Don't you want to be Miss Black Ebony? Don't you want to be a doctor or a lawyer?" And I'm like that's ridiculous. Why would I want to do that? I want to be a singer. So I
Right.
knew early on. I grew up in a house full of music. I grew up in a musical family.
Okay.
My grandfather was a quartet singer, Bernard Patton. He sang with the Gate City Singers.
Wow.
We had the likes of Sam Cooke, the Soul Stirrers, the Dixie
Mhm.
Hummingbirds, would come over for dinner, and my grandmother would feed them and they would break out and sing. And Joe Lagan was one of his dear friends. So, my mom and her sisters, they had a singing group back in the day. And I mean, they sang with, the 3 Degrees and all of the folks that were kind of out at that time and at the top of their game. And they were representing North Philadelphia as
Mhm.
the debutantes. So I was just afforded the opportunity to be exposed to so many different types of music at a young age. So I
Wow.
pretty much knew early on that I wanted to spend my life, my adult life, bringing joy to others.
Yeah.
With the gift that God had given me, and not just singing, the acting. Like, I loved musicals, and I
Yeah.
was, I could give you every line and lyric for from Seven Brides to Seven Brothers to The Sound of Music to Mary Poppins to, I mean, and I listened to everyone from Barbara Streisand to Tremaine Hawkins, from Mahalia Jackson to Phyllis Hyman,
Yeah.
so it just really was a blessed house to grow
Yeah.
up in. Still
Um,
having the fear of God, but not sheltering me from spreading my creative wings either.
right.
So I knew pretty much early on
Mhm.
that is the lane for me.
Wow. So and now, well, let's talk about some of your recordings, because you've been on a lot of platforms. You were voted best inspirational singer in America by Radio One, and
Yeah.
also James Fortune, he wrote and produced a single, and so share some of those things
Wow.
that have happened.
That. whole experience was life changing for me because I'm not really a competition
Yeah.
person.
Right.
And my husband tells this story often because they would play the commercial every day, several times a day. So we would hear the commercial on the radio. You guys need to come down and audition. You need to sign up, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So this went on for weeks
Mm-hmm.
until the week before the deadline for the to sign up for the auditions. I
Mm-hmm.
said, you know what? Why not? What could happen?
Wow.
Nothing or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go. And I went to audition and I just met so many other amazing artists and built some friendships there. We totally forgot that it was a competition. I mean, you just did
Right.
not, it was not that feeling. That air
Right.
wasn't in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So that in itself was great. And then just meeting Carrie Douglas and James Fortune and all of the Radio One execs and all of the other gospel industry vets that were there, Vicky Winans and I mean, you had everybody in radio, everyone in gospeldom, because this was the first time they'd ever done something like this.
Oh.
So for the opportunity to share my gift on that stage, meet all these wonderful people, network with them, and then to hear them say that I won representing Philadelphia when you had people from all over the country there.
Right.
And then my heart fell out of my chest because the song that I selected to sing in the finals was More Than Enough. So
Oh.
I'm in the middle of singing More Than Enough, and Vicky Winans walks in and sits on the front row.
Really?
I think my heart is still.
Right. Oh my goodness.
So I was like, what is this happening to me? She walks in, she sits on the front row, and I'm just like, okay, well, it's sink or swim, honey. You gonna sing it for real or you gonna sing it for what? What you gonna do? So I just said, okay, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna give God our best praise because I didn't sit here all day not to win. I'm trying to give you everything that God has given me. I need you to understand that He will be more than enough.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of my song, I need you to believe that. And thanks be to God, Coco brother, when he announced my name, I will never forget that feeling. It was such an amazing moment to have the opportunity to work with James Fortune and Aaron Lewis. Was
Really?
great. More Than Faithful, another amazing song, and just working with him in the studio, just their technique of recording was a little
Right.
different. You know, I had had some experience, of course, working in the studio, and everybody's style is different. But they just, they were done. I was just
Mm-hmm.
getting comfortable and warm, and they were like, "Okay," and we're done. So the
Wow.
whole time I'm figuring out the song, they're cutting and they're just going through, and we were in and out. And
Mm-hmm.
to hear the final product just blew my mind because I'm like, I didn't even work hard. It was, I don't remember sweating or anything. And they made it so easy, and he was so great, such a great producer. So it
Mm-hmm.
was an honor to share that song with the world as well. And More Than Faithful, God Won't Let Me Fail, songs like that is really important to me that the lyric is authentic
Yeah,
because I can't sing it if I don't believe it. If I don't feel it,
that's
you're
right.
not gonna feel it.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
both of those songs speak greatly to my life and to who I am.
Yeah.
So I was honored.
Yes. And also, you were on a promotional tour with Patti LaBelle.
Miss Patty, Patty, Patty.
Yes.
Listen, if you are a singer, if you are a vocalist,
Uh-huh.
and you can add uh, the legendary Patti LaBelle to your resume
Mm-hmm.
of platforms that you have had the honor of being on. When I tell you
Wow.
that was God's just so good.
Yeah.
Because the way that whole audition went down, and
Mhm.
I was still working my 9 to 5. I was still working at University of Penn, still
Wow.
trying to figure out how I was going to do the music and pay my bills,
Yeah.
and got a call from a friend of mine who was a friend of a friend. And that's why relationships are so important.
That's true.
They always say it's not what you know, but it's who you know. Well, yeah, it's who you know, but when you get there, you better know something too. So it's who you know and what you know. So a friend of a friend let me know that they were having auditions for background singers, and
Mm-hmm.
I had the opportunity to go and sing for her musical director prior to the actual audition. And
Mm-hmm.
then when we got to the actual audition, that was like an all day process. Since the girl was supposed to be back at work, I went on my lunch. That's how good God is.
Wow.
I went on my lunch and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to sing. They're going to be like, okay, we'll call you. And
Mm-hmm.
they were like, well, do you have a minute? And I was just like, oh, God, do I have a job is the question. Um, I said, yeah, sure, I can hang around. And
Mm-hmm.
hang around turned into all day. But at
Really?
the end of the day, at the end of the day, thank God I did get that wonderful call. And I was one of the four singers that they picked. And I mean, there was some of the best and brightest in that room. And so to get
Yeah.
the opportunity to work with Bud Ellison changed my entire life. And if you have been under a rock and you have no idea who Bud Ellison is, Bud
Mm-hmm.
Ellison is Patti LaBelle. Okay. His
Mm-hmm.
arrangements of You Are My Friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, just her whole live set that he put together. Brilliant. Brilliant. When You've Been Blessed, Bud Ellison.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Somewhere Over the Rainbow,
Yeah.
Bud Ellison. If you get the opportunity to research the
Mm-hmm.
team behind the artist that you love,
Yeah.
it gives you a whole nother appreciation for what they do. So
Exactly.
once again, God was just, he favored me with that one.
Right.
Because to be able to tour the country with her and to learn from her and glean from her, those are tools I still use today. And she was just the absolute sweetest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, of course she was strict and she wanted what she wanted, but I could appreciate the discipline. I could
Yeah.
appreciate the level of professionalism that she demanded that
Yeah.
we operate.
Uh,
And yeah, it was a blessing. It was a
wow.
blessing.
That's great. And it is important. I think a lot of times when you have people or that want to become vocalists or want to become gospel artists, they think you have to just, quit your job and just go and do it. But no, you still need to work and still, um, with your craft still,
I think
learn.
you have to use wisdom. I really, because there are friends of mine that told me, "Oh, girl, please, you should just quit your job and move to LA."
Mhm.
That's not my story. I
Right.
know a lot of people that have done that.
Right. Yeah.
I know a lot of people that have quit their jobs and just went out there and done it, and they've been successful, and that's great, and
Mhm.
I'm happy for you. That
Right.
just wasn't my story.
Right.
Not so much because I was afraid. I just didn't feel that that's what God was leading me to do.
Hmm.
And so, whether it was that I still had some maturing to do, whether it was that He was not allowing me to come out before my time, or
Yeah.
whatever the reason, I just didn't feel that that was my lane. But I
Right.
think that you definitely need to use wisdom. And if it's something that you feel passionate, you feel that you're called to do. So are we talking about just being an artist because your passion will drive you? But if you're talking about being a kingdom creative and a gospel artist, then
Yeah.
you definitely want to be where God is calling you to. So you definitely don't want to go ahead of him
Right.
if there's still processing that needs to take place before
That's
you're presented to the world, because then you just jack up your whole timeline there.
that's right.
So I would prefer to wait on him and trust that his timing is perfect. And I'm saying that from what I know, not from what I've been told.
Right. Absolutely. Because it pays to be ready too. Because a lot of times, people want to go and they're not even prepared. Their music is not prepared. Their vocals are not prepared. Their playing skills are not ready yet. So when the time, be ready so that when the time comes, you will be prepared and God will do it at the right time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about your acting. And you portrayed Helga Jackson. Oh my
I
goodness.
did. I did. Oh gosh, another great story. So, Donald Welch and Don B. Welch Productions, who are now located in LA.
Mhm.
I saw the audition in the paper, and I was constantly always looking for opportunities to hone my craft outside of church, outside of my normal um, gigs that I would do, outside of normal ministry events that I would do. I was always looking for other outlets. And so I saw this audition in a paper for a gospel musical. That's all it said. So I go to the audition thinking, well, what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
I don't have any theatrical experience professionally, but
Mhm.
however, I did go to the greatest high school in the world, the Philadelphia High School for the Creative and Performing Arts.
Yeah.
And so you are taught by the best to be
Mhm.
the best. So
Mhm.
I'm sure that whatever they're going to ask me to do, I
You
can do it.
right.
So I walked in the door basically selling
Mhm.
myself, saying I just want to be a part of the team, whether it's the chorus, whether it's doing sets, whether it's doing lights. I just love theater. So
Mhm.
whatever it is that I need to do to ace this audition, just let me know. So he
Mhm.
says, well, let me hear you sing something. So I sang something. And then
Mhm.
he says, okay. I said, well, let me hear you sing, something else. And I sang something else. Then he says, well, let me hear you read these lines. So I'm reading the lines and I'm thinking, okay, this is a whole lot, to go through just to sing in the chorus for a
Right.
gospel production. What do I know though?
Right.
So at the end of the audition, he says, do you have a minute? Are you in a hurry? And you know what that means, Miss Cindy. It's going to be all day.
Yeah. Oh,
Whenever they say, do you have a minute? It
yeah.
means it's all day.
Because you know by experience.
Uh, there you go. And this actually, I should have known when I went to audition for Miss Patty, it was going to be all day because
Uh,
this happened before that. So
uh,
he took me to his attorney's office
mhm.
and asked me to do the whole audition again for her. And at the end of the evening, he tells me, well, if you're interested, we would like to offer you the lead role of Mahalia Jackson.
Oh my.
Well, somebody come and scrape me up off the floor
Right.
because I was totally shocked.
I'm
I'm
sure.
like, the lead, what is it? I
Right.
said, Lord, first of all, it was really funny to me because in my teenage years, people would say to me, well, who do you think you are, Mahalia Jackson or somebody?
Really.
And I couldn't capture
Mhm.
what was so bad about that. Like, I love Mahalia Jackson. I don't understand what your
Mhm.
problem is. But then I realized that they were basically saying the way you carry yourself like you are already someone.
Yeah.
Like we should already know your name.
Right. Wow. Mhm.
I guess that comes from, yes, I'm sure that performing arts played a part in that,
Mhm.
but my upbringing, which is so important, which I
Mhm.
tell parents all the time, if you have
Mhm.
a child that is interested in the arts,
Right.
feed that, pour into them, affirm them at home. So
Right.
that because you're going to hear a lot of no's, you're going to hear a lot of negativity, you're going to
Mhm.
hear a lot of you're too fat, you're too skinny, your hair's too short,
Mhm.
it's too long, you're not the right complexion,
Mhm.
you're not the right height, your
That's true.
voice has too much vibrato. You're going to
Mhm.
hear all of that. So if you have no one affirming you at home, those no's are going to hit you like a ton of bricks.
Right.
Those discouraging words are going to scar you. And
Mhm.
so I was so blessed to know that whether I get the part or not, I'm
Mhm.
still loved. Whether I get the part or not, my
Wow.
family still thinks that I'm the best thing since sliced bread, even if you don't. The world just hasn't seen it yet. And I still don't think that my best days have even been realized yet. I'm just
Yes.
scratching the surface
Yes.
of what God has really called me to do because you have to trust the process. My
That's,
processing was just a little bit different than the
mhm.
next person. Oh, Tamika, you should have done this by now. Oh,
Mhm.
Tamika, you should have done that by now. Well, ma'am, sir, that's your opinion. That's your
Right.
opinion. I just believe that, everybody's road is different.
Mhm.
And those affirmations play a huge role in the
Right.
well that you draw from.
Mhm.
So make sure that you tell them they're the best. They're great. They're awesome. They're, you know, they're going to be on the cover of Essence. They're going to be, you know, all over social media. They're going to be all over national TV. Their name is going to be on the marquee. And that way, when you have that confidence, because it's not arrogance. And a
Right.
lot of times I think people confuse my confidence in who I know I am in God
Right.
as arrogance.
Right. Yeah.
Not arrogance. I
Right.
just know. I'm
Hmm.
just assured.
Right.
At the end of the day, if my ministry is not your cup of tea, there are many other tea bags and many other cups.
But that's true. That's true.
So
You gotta have the confidence in this. You really
you
have.
must.
You have to.
And you surely would know, as you know, as a woman in music that sings and play. Come on, guys, they were not trying to let you guys have an inch
I
in
have
there.
stories I could tell you. They they were not. You know, it's come a long way, and there's still some there, but they were not. You're absolutely right. And what could you say to anyone that's watching that's interested in becoming a vocalist? What steps would you give them besides the confidence? What other steps would you give them to really to especially going through this pandemic where we have so much free time? What would you really
Yeah,
say to them?
it's, you know what? I think now, thanks to technology, it's so much easier now than it was when, I mean, you can literally write a song and share it with a million people in a couple of hours.
That's true.
So my I guess my advice, because you know, what do I know? I'm still just a little kid in the game myself. I have so much yet to experience, but my advice would be first and foremost to really be passionate. If you don't love it, you're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna you're not gonna make it. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't love it, the first little negative word or the first person that doesn't totally fawn over you or embrace you or think that you're amazing is going to put such a dent in
Mm-hmm.
your armor that it may take you forever to recover. So make
Right.
sure that you love it.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you're chasing after the right thing for the right reason.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I would say utilize all of the tools that are free to you. You know, you
Mm-hmm.
don't necessarily need a manager. You don't necessarily need a record label. You don't necessarily need all of those things that people tell you. And that's kind of an old school way
Yeah.
of doing things.
Yeah.
But when you look at those things in front of you as hindrances, or
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not signed to such and such label, oh, it's impossible. It's not. Independent artists are doing this thing every day. They're
Right.
using the internet, social media, all of these tools and platforms. So do some research, get with someone that is a social media guru. Study,
Yeah.
read,
Yeah.
read, read, read,
Mhm.
read, because it is it's a blessing to be able to go on the internet and find the information that you seek and then apply it. It
Right.
doesn't cost you any money.
Right. Absolutely.
Yes, you can link up with someone who is a wizard at it, but
Hmm.
you got to pay for everything.
You
You got to
do.
pay for information. You have to pay for the people that are helping you.
Right.
They're sewing into you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're cashing your checks.
That's right.
So if you read, you can find out that same information, and
Mm-hmm.
you can work it until you're good at it.
Mm-hmm.
Work it until you're good at it, and then you can represent yourself in a way that will at least get you in the door. And
Right.
then be approachable, be relational when
Yeah.
you do go to networking events, or when you do check into these chat rooms with industry vets and people of influence.
Hmm.
Don't sit there and just look at the screen and don't say anything. You
Right.
keep commenting until someone recognizes your comment.
Right.
You keep posting,
That's
until someone recognizes your post.
yeah.
Don't, and I'm guilty of this because I do not like to post on social media unless I have something to say.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And everyone that has worked with me marketing wise has wanted to choke me
Mm-hmm.
because I just don't see the point in posting pictures of me eating cereal and painting my toenails, and I just don't
Right.
see why that's important. And who is that helping?
I understand.
However, Branding and marketing. People want to know your personality. They want to know what you like, what you eat, what you wear, where you shop. That
Mm-hmm.
has nothing to do with your ministry. It really doesn't. But that's the way of the world today. People want an inside peek into your life so that they can relate more to your music.
Right.
So, just make sure that all of your social media is seamless. Don't, if your name is Raekwon, don't have, Raekwon the Destroyer on Facebook, and then, Raekwon that boy on Instagram, and then have Raekwon number 2 on Twitter. These are 3 different people in the
Yeah.
minds of your followers.
Right.
So try to make sure that your name is
Mm.
synonymous and seamless across all of your social media platforms.
That's
Make
true.
sure you have a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you at least post something. Keep
Yes.
your people engaged.
Right.
You have followers from all over the world.
That's.
So there are plenty of tools out there that you can utilize. And first, and above all,
Mm-hmm.
that definitely pray, read your word, seek the Lord for direction, and don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't be discouraged. It's not anything worth having is
Mm-hmm.
not going to be handed to you. If
Mm-hmm.
it's handed to you, you're not going to appreciate it. And I'm not saying you have to suffer. I'm not saying you have to, crawl on the ground. And some people, they don't have a hard way. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, it just happens for them.
Right.
But I think you appreciate it more when you give 100%
Mm-hmm.
and you're intentional about it. So whatever you do, don't give up.
Right. And what about as far as like some people, they want to, go to the top so quickly and to be with a major label. And there's nothing wrong with being an indie artist. Can you kind of share something, about that?
Yeah, I've seen both sides of the coin. I graduated from high school, and 2 days after graduation, I was on a plane to Detroit.
Mm,
I was signed with Orpheus EMI Capitol Records,
mm,
and I did a project with them. And my intention, which I expressed,
mm-hmm.
was that I wanted to do a gospel album. And they were just like, yeah, 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 that's cool, great. We're gonna get to that. But for right now,
Right. Mm-hmm.
can you just sing this little ditty? And the songs, amazing, great
Right.
songs
Mm-hmm.
that did not compromise who I was at all. My
Mm-hmm.
mother made sure of that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a wonderful opportunity to have like one of the biggest labels in the world
Yeah.
sign you
Mm-hmm.
as a kid. So
Right.
I literally learned from some of the best. And
Mm,
then to matriculate through that whole process while I'm learning myself, while I'm growing and maturing and finding myself and finding my voice and finding
right.
what I really want to do, and then coming back again a few years later with a gospel project, and they're like, oh, she came back to the church. What
Wow.
what what huh,
Yeah.
who's that?
Right.
I never left.
Never left.
Worship and a worshiper is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I do. It's a every day, every moment. It's a lifestyle. And
That's
so my
right.
love for God never changed. Never
Mm-hmm.
ever. Never changed. What I sing, I'm never going to sing something that's, contrary to who I am. But I learned and appreciated both sides of the coin, whether it's a major label or
Mm-hmm.
whether it was a independent label or whether it was a Tamika Patton Music independent label where I'm doing it myself.
Mm-hmm.
The level of excellence,
Mm-hmm.
you can achieve it. It could be the same.
Mm-hmm.
The difference is the dollars,
Yeah.
the marketing dollars
Right.
that are behind you. Used to be the thing that pushed it.
Yes.
But it's like, don't be discouraged because you're an indie artist. Most of your major names are indie artists now.
Right. That's
They're
true.
not with a label. You
That's
just
true.
know their name, and you're
Right.
so used to hearing their name, you don't even think about what label they're on anymore.
Right. Absolutely.
But most of your major gospel artists are independent artists. So don't look at it as a bad thing or a less than or a
Right.
lower than because you're not attached to an RCA or an E1 or whoever. Labels are great, and I say to those people that that's their desire because I've experienced it. It's wonderful. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to maintain your creative control and you can find a label that will allow you to do that, God bless your whole heart. If you want to maintain your coins and
Mm-hmm.
you can find a label that'll allow you to do that, God bless your whole heart.
That's
And
right.
if you want to be true to yourself at the end of the day and say, this is a project that I know I can be proud of. This is a
Mm-hmm.
project that I know I gave what God wanted me to give to the people and not something that was commercial. And
Mm-hmm.
you can find a label that will allow you to do that. God
Right.
bless your whole heart. So you have to weigh what
Yeah.
it is that
Right.
you want from the situation. If you just want somebody to put money behind it and push it and it's trash,
Then yeah, there's somebody there that'll do it.
there's somebody there that'll do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, what's next for Tamika? It's my last question to ask you for tonight. What's next?
Oh, I was having so much fun. Um, what is next for Tamika? Well, I can, you know what, Cindy, you got the goods first. I haven't even dropped it on my social media yet. So
Mm-hmm.
you have the exclusive right here. We
Yeah.
have taken a leap of faith and we have followed a dream. And I believe God is calling us to this area to do something. There's an assignment here for me, and we have relocated. Tamika Patton Music and Chosen Vessel Productions has moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And what's next for Tamika is hmm, anybody's guess at this point because God has
Mm-hmm.
just blown my mind in the last 2 weeks, has just blown my mind
Mm-hmm.
with the people that he has allowed to come into our path and to connect with us and to support us and to believe in our ministry. And so, along with launching the talk show, Time, Talent, and Treasure with
Yeah.
Tamika Patton,
Mm-hmm.
is a blessing. And it's something that, I was told that I always did on my Facebook Lives anyway. Who
Yeah.
knew?
Right.
It wasn't something that I was necessarily looking to do. It kind of just happened. And when it happened, I realized that there was something there that was an area I needed to pour into. And
Yeah.
it's just been a blessing.
Yeah.
So, along with launching the talk show, we
Mhm.
have a couple of other projects that we're working on that are outside of the box of my normal offerings to you. So, you'll
Right.
probably be hearing an inspirational jazz project. You'll probably be hearing a new gospel project, of course, and I'm
Mhm.
still saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled, and fire baptized. Give God the glory. Yes,
That's right. Work.
yes. So we will be doing some online theatrical productions as well.
Really?
And
Right.
yes, and we are working on finally documenting this journey. I want to get it down in
Mm-hmm.
a book form while I still remember it all,
Yeah.
because I know it's going to help someone
Yeah.
on the next leg of their journey. So if my story can help you, um, be a blessing to you, inspire you, encourage you in any way, I want to go ahead and hurry up and get it written and get it into the hands of
Mm-hmm.
the newcomers, the next, whoever the next are. I definitely want to reach back and allow them to benefit from my experience. So, without, letting too many other cats out of the bag, I think all the cats are meowing right now because I haven't told anybody.
Right. Well, I'm honored that you told me.
Listen, I feel it's a safe place. I
Yeah.
feel that just your prayers and your support, and I've watched you over the years in your ministry, and you've been consistent, and you've just been the same. And I mean, you're amazing. You're wonderful, so
Mhm.
gracious. And as I said, I was honored to get the invitation to come on the show, and so I felt what better place. I don't mind sharing this.
Yeah.
This is something that of course, my marketing people are probably going to choke me because they're like, "You could have announced that on your own show," but
Right.
it's not about that.
And you still can announce it on your own show.
It's
Yeah,
still it's still news.
that's right. It's still news because it's just happening now.
It's just happening.
Right now, it's still news. But your realness is so you feel it, and even with your singing, because I think I was at a program I think I had to play for, and it was something with Louise Williams Bishop.
Yes, yes, I love her. That's my family. Love her.
Yes, and for Martin Luther King, I was playing there for some, and they said to me, I was on first playing for a young lady that was opening up. It was the MLK Day or something,
Yeah.
and I waited around for you, and I went in, and it would seem like it was taking so long for them to put you up to sing. So I saw somebody that I knew, and I asked them. I said, "Would you have any idea when Tamika will be singing?" So they said, "We're going to put her up now." I said, "We're going to put her up now." I was so happy because I stayed around, to.
Oh wow, that means a lot. Cindy Barber don't be sitting around waiting for nobody to get up.
No, I really don't.
so, so listen.
History, because you've always been so real. You've been the same. You've been the
Thank
same.
you.
You go about your business and and then you're so anointed, and you just keep going. You stand around and you talk to people. Because a lot
Thank
of
you.
people don't, really do that anymore. But you'll stand around and talk to them. And you're just real, just down to earth. Just these nuggets that you shared tonight definitely should be in book form because you have a lot to offer and you have a great name out here.
Oh wow, that means a lot. Your name is all you have.
That's
So that means a lot. And I try to be the artist that I look up to because there's a difference when you listen to someone's music and
yeah,
then you meet them.
yeah.
I know this is the end. I'm not even going to open another
No,
chapter.
go ahead.
But I've been so disappointed
Mm-hmm.
because when you look up to someone beyond their music, you
Yeah,
you watch their lifestyle or what you think it is anyway.
yeah.
The part that you're allowed to see, and then you get the opportunity to meet that person, and they're
Mm-hmm.
nothing like the song.
I know.
They're
That's
nothing like the person that just had the mic.
yeah.
And I totally understand. My mom says, "Huh, when the anointing lifts," that's our joke because you know I totally understand that when the Lord is through, you're back to Tanya. You can be apostle,
Right, but yeah,
Tanya, whoever.
right.
And when the anointing lifts, you're Tanya.
Mm-hmm.
And so I get it. However, that step down shouldn't be so far
Mm-hmm.
that I don't even recognize you as Tanya. And
Right.
so I try to be the way that I would want artists to be. When I walk up to Yolanda Adams or CeCe Winans
Mm-hmm.
or Lettucey or Chaka Khan or Miss Patty,
Right.
I admire the
Yeah,
beauty that you carry. I
right.
admire what you do with your gift. And all I'm coming to tell you is I admire that. So
Exactly.
if I didn't admire it, one, if I didn't take my good hard earned money to admire it, two,
Right. Mm-hmm.
there would anyone know to admire you?
That's true.
So I think the time that you take, yes, as a gospel artist, again, yes, you have to protect your anointing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have to use wisdom. Yes, you can't greet everyone and you can't hug everyone. And I get all of that.
Right.
But you can still be personable. You can still be relatable. You can still be approachable.
That's right.
And I just still think if people took the time to come out and support you, if they
Mm-hmm.
took the time to buy your music, they
Mm-hmm.
know you by name and they're taking the time to say, hey, take a selfie with me, as long as the person doesn't need to take medicine and they're putting you in danger,
Right.
what does it hurt to take a selfie? You
Right.
don't know what that selfie means to that person. You don't know in a night season if they played your record and your record was the record that stopped them from committing suicide, or your song was the song that the Lord used to bring them to Christ, and then you turn around and give them diva.
Yeah.
Nobody has time for that.
No,
Look, people are dying every day. Hell
no,
is real and hell is hot, and people are going.
that's right.
And as much Jesus as we're throwing out there, there are some people that still are not getting it because it's not personal. It's a commercial.
Right.
They
Absolutely.
don't feel like it's for them personally. They feel like it's just a blanket message. And
Yeah.
so if the Lord decided, you know what, I'm gonna use this vessel right here. Come here, Tamika. I need you to sing this song right here. And it's not a song of mine. It's not one
Mm-hmm.
of my singles. It's not my current single.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about promoting Tamika right now. It's a
That's,
ministry moment.
that's right.
And he says, what's more precious?
Mm,
That's what you're here for. It's about my souls.
exactly.
You're
That's.
just a vessel. So when you get the two conflicted, so my mom would say,
Mm-hmm.
career, career's over here,
Mm-hmm.
ministry is over here.
That's it.
Which one is it going to be?
Yeah.
Because you think that you can do both,
And
but it gets really, you're splitting hairs in there.
that's right.
Because you have to know how to separate the two.
You
If
do.
you have a 7-minute set and they say, okay, you got two songs, what you gonna do? And you get up there and you feel the house, and the house does not call for your single, your new single
Mm-hmm.
that you're trying to get to chart on Billboard.
Right.
But
Yeah.
everybody else on the ballot is
Mm,
doing their new music.
right.
Are you mature enough in your walk? Are you mature enough in Christ to
Mm-hmm.
say, okay, well, we're not doing the single. We're gonna minister to the house.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, I'm not popular in
No,
that particular vein, because I'm like, you can go download the single when I'm done. Right now, the word for the house is this.
right. You got to be in tune with what's going on in the house at that time.
That's the whole point of you being up there.
That's
Or
it.
is it? Or is it?
Yeah.
Ah.
It is, and the majority it's not. It's about my single. I'm going to push it, and I'm going to make you buy it because I'm going to sing it until you buy it. And have made some comments here that I want to read to you. This is my aunt from Greenville, South Carolina. She said, Tamika, you are so amazing. You will do great in Atlanta. Hope to see more of you because now you will be near South Carolina, which is only about
Awesome.
away. And
I've
he is officially a new chapter rep for the GMWA in Massachusetts. And
Wow.
new appointment for him. And he has a phenomenal choir. He says it happens so many times and it turns people away, not just from you, but sometimes from God.
Absolutely.
And this is
Absolutely.
my sister, Prophet Stacy Bent, and she says, preaching this, don't give diva.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
And she will too.
Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Someone else has joined us tonight. My dear friend, Harold Thompson. And
Wow.
great interview. Tamika Patton, continue to be who you are. I hope you know what a positive example you are to so many. God bless. And
Oh, wow. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
I know I love Harold. I had him one year too. Yes.
Whew,
But
amazing.
it is for the people from everywhere that really love your ministry. And sometimes you don't know until you get on venues like this. You don't know who's watching you or who has been watching you for years and made
Absolutely.
able to get to you, after you sang or something, but they're supporting your music. And that's why it's so important to be nice to everybody. Because you
I
don't
agree.
know who, a stranger, unaware, you don't know.
And that's what real ministry is. I say all the time, real ministry is not glamorous. And if that's what you're in it for, you're going to be disappointed greatly.
You are. It's not.
So that's
It,
what it is. That's what the word calls for. So
it,
it's not always, it's not always about the look and what you wear. Yeah, I'd like to be cute like anybody else. The glasses got to be, that's just my little thing. But if I had to go and minister and I didn't have my glasses, or I didn't have my whatever I wanted to wear, and I've done it, I've had to do it.
right. Exactly.
Things happen. Your bags get lost in travel or whatever the case may be. So
Yes.
if your persona that you create is who you become, and
Mm,
you're no longer you,
mm.
then you can't function unless you have your vices, whatever your little one
Yeah,
trick pony is. You can't function. So it's best to just be you all the time, and then you don't have to put that person on.
exactly. Exactly. Because things happen. And then everybody can't walk. They don't know what price you have paid and what price you've paid. Everybody can't walk in your shoes. They look at the upside of it now, but they don't know the downside, what you've been
Listen,
to get to
I
where you are today.
I tell people all the time, if you would like to experience my
Mm-hmm.
experience, help
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Right.
Help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you would, I tell people that say, oh, I wish I could sing like that, or I wish I not say, don't say that. Don't say
Yeah.
that. Because
It's,
the oil that vessels walk in, and the
mhm,
oil that's on their life,
mhm.
unless you're willing to suffer for that oil,
Right.
like you said, you don't know what people have gone through. The
Right.
way that I minister now
Mm-hmm.
compared to the way that I ministered 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, has nothing to do with skill set
Right.
change. It does, however, have to do with life change
Mm-hmm.
and experiences that the Lord would allow me to go through. And so I could sing a song now that I sang 5 years ago, and it would come from a totally different place
Oh,
because I'm
absolutely.
singing it from a totally different place
Yeah.
because I'm in a totally different place.
Yeah, and you've grown, you've evolved. It takes a lot. And as years go on, a lot of people don't want to be patient with this. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of
Absolutely.
time. Now, this song that you have out is called Stand on His Promises, and we're going to
Yes.
do it. Who wrote that song?
Oh, wow. Well, listen, this song is so dear to my heart. This song is almost, it's like 20 plus years old. A
Mm-hmm.
friend of mine, and I'm sure you know Eric Franks. He's no longer with us. He has since passed away. But Eric Franks was a phenomenal music maestro in the Philadelphia area. I mean, he played for everybody, Philly Mass, Savas. I mean,
Yeah.
played for
Mm-hmm.
everybody. And he wrote this song. He put out an album called Simple Praise
Mm-hmm.
years ago. I think
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know, 98.
Okay.
No, 8, 90, yeah, 98, around there.
Mhm.
And this was one of the songs on that album. Now, I loved everything that he
Right.
wrote. He wrote 2 songs for me on my gospel album, Born Again. And I took an assignment as a director of music and arts at a church in Virginia, and that's where I've been ministering for the last 6 years prior to relocating to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And the church wanted to do a fundraiser, and I thought it would be a great idea for the music ministry to record a CD and
Mm-hmm.
release it. And I said, I have the perfect catalog of music for this choir. I said,
Mm-hmm.
my friend wrote this album of amazing songs, and they really never got to see the light of day. I
Mm-hmm.
want to share them with the world. And so Stand on His Promises was one of those songs. And we did it, and the choir did a great job, and it was wonderful. However, it kept pulling and gnawing at me. Like there was something we weren't tapping into. There was more. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was out one Saturday and it hit me. And I called a friend of mine, Ramon Shelton, who's an amazing producer out of the Baltimore area. And I
Mm-hmm.
said, Ramon, listen, I said, smack me for saying this now, but I've never done a shout track. And I need to do this song.
Mm-hmm.
I've done ballads galore. I've done, everything
Right.
in between, but I've never done just an old school.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
So he says, really? I said, no. He said,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it.
Right.
Now, he called my bluff because after I hung up, I'm just like, oh, well, it's going to take him a couple weeks, to put a track together. It's going to take time. By the time the time goes by, I can backpedal
Right.
out of this.
Mm-hmm.
No, he had a track to me. It was within 2 weeks. It was,
Really?
yes, he had a skeleton. He was serious. He's like, okay, come on, let's do this. Now, the
Wow.
amazing thing about Stand on His Promises is we worked on that song for a year. I've never worked on a song that long. Never.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
normally, it may take me a couple weeks. We're
Mm.
done.
Right.
A year.
A year.
We went back in. I went back in. The lead wasn't doing it for me. We were back in, wanted to change this, wanted to change that. And so
Mhm.
I just started saying, well, Lord, when is the song going to be released? Because I just.
Yeah.
And he says, okay, it's coming out. And I said, He says, now is the season. This is the time right here that I needed to remind my people to stand on my promises. I
Mm-hmm.
said, in the middle of the pandemic.
Mm.
So he had to prepare
Mm-hmm.
the time.
Right.
If we had put it out before that time,
Yeah.
We would
Yeah.
have been out of sync.
Right.
But
Right.
when I tell you the testimonies, he said revival will break out in homes.
Mm-hmm.
You will remind my people that I'm a promise keeper, and a promise is a promise. It may not look like it's going to happen. It
Right.
may look like, all is lost, and it may look, but remind them to
Mm-hmm.
stand on all that I've already promised you. He's already promised to never leave us nor forsake us. He's promised to be our source, our resource, our protector, our keeper, our light in the dark place. He's
Mm.
already given us everything that we need to be empowered
Yes.
in this season of reset.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
to keep everyone encouraged through 2020, reminding them, stand
Mm-hmm.
on his promises, stand on his promises, stand
Mm-hmm.
on his promises. And then I encountered things in life that I had to remind myself, whatever you do, don't you ever give up.
Yeah.
Learn to lean on the Lord when the going gets tough. And if you stumble and fall, he will pick you up. Stand on his
Mm-hmm.
promises. When storms come your way, just
Mm-hmm.
kneel down and pray. When your faith is low, stand on his
Mm-hmm.
promises. And then the praising prophet himself, Pastor Corey Mickey, blessed us and graced this track
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
the oil that's on his life.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, from the recording to the video shoot, we just had a good time.
Wow.
Good time in the Lord. And then I
Good.
was blessed to have the Virginia State University, some of
Oh.
the members of Virginia State University Gospel Chorale,
Wow.
but it was a smaller ensemble actually. Ronnie Wilson and the Artistry.
Mm-hmm.
They are the background vocals that you hear
Wow.
yelling. I
Yeah.
mean, totally screaming those soprano notes.
Yeah.
That's Ronnie C. Wilson and the Artistry.
They sound amazing. I wanted to read this, and then I'm going to play the song.
Okay.
She says, Elder Sherelle Roberts, I attended Bethel Deliverance Anniversary a couple of years ago, in which you were the soloist of the evening. I cried the entire time you sang. The presence of God filled the place with such a sweet spirit when you sang. I did not want you to stop singing. Truly, the oil flows through you in an unusual way. God's songbird, the Lord bless and keep you always.
Oh, wow. Amen. Praise God. Thank you, Elder Sherelle.
Yeah,
Woo. Y'all
yeah,
about to make these little lashes come off. Y'all gonna make me cry tonight. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's good to get your flowers while you're still here.
that's right.
So if no one else ever tells me they were blessed by my ministry, I know it's so tonight. So
Yeah,
this was a divine appointment, and I thank you again.
yeah, absolutely. I thank you. And I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight, but I want you to listen to this track, Stand on His Promises. And I want you all to be able to purchase it. Make sure this comes on right and you can hear it.
You got to stand when storms come your way. Yeah. You just kneel down and pray when your faith is low. You got to stand whatever you do. Yeah. Learn to lean on the Lord if you stumble and fall. Stand. You got to stand when you are hungry. I see in your knees when you are walking in darkness. Didn't believe you when you are hungry. I see in you when you are walking in darkness. Didn't believe you. Standing on the promises of Christ our King, glory in the highest power, praise whatever you do, yeah. Learn to lean on the Lord. If you stumble and fall, you got to stand, stand on His promises. Come with love from day to day. Trust Him. Hold on. Be strong. He has a plan. Whatever the brother, my sister, you've got to stand on his promises. Yes, sir. I stand firm knowing that my God made me a promise. Yes, he did. And the promise is a promise. I need a praise in this room right now that believes that you're standing firm on the promises of God. He made me a promise. He made me a promise. Oh God. He made me a promise. He made me a promise. And I choose to believe God. Choose to believe God. I choose to stand firm. I'm standing on the promise. I believe that God will. But he's going to do everything that he said. Stand firm on his promise. Yes, sir. Stand firm. My sister, my brother, don't pray under the pressure. Don't keep doing it. Well doing it. What you shall begin your thing now. Don't go with the tide. Don't quit. Keep going. You're standing on his promise. Stand strong. He shall do what he said. And the word shall come to pass. Whatever you do. I need somebody to start dancing right now. I said, start dancing on his promise. Let your praise be a sign that you decree and you declare that everything God spoke concerning me shall come to pass because of the promise over my life. He made me a promise. He made me a promise. He made me a promise. He made me a promise.
Great, great.
Amen.
Yes, I love it. I love it. I've been listening to it all day. She keeps going in and out. Please, everyone, download this single, Stand on His Promises with Tamika Patton. You heard it tonight. It's a churchy song, and we all need to stand on His promise.
Yeah, my phone is, that means somebody's being blessed tonight because my phone has never overheated the entire time that I've had my phone.
Wow.
And in the middle of the song playing, it says, okay, we're going to just turn you off in 20 seconds. I'm like,
Wow.
really? So
Wow.
we're
Wow.
back.
Yes, we are. And I want to thank you so much, Tamika. This was an honor for me to have you with me on tonight and
Thank you.
share your wonderful news being in ATL. And
Yes.
I'm looking forward to hearing some great things. And I want to have you back on the show. So I know I'm looking forward for 2020 to be your year that God has.
Oh, thank you.
So we'll get you back here again to let us know what you're doing. And maybe
Thank
I'll
you so much.
and interview you live in living color down in the ATL.
That would be awesome.
Yes, because you have you have a show too.
Yes, it's about to cut off again, but that's okay. I'm going to log back on.
Yes. Okay, her phone cut off again, and Felicia Beverly said, "Right, churchy." Yes, sir. Yes, it is very churchy. And she said that's unusual for her, but this was a good one. So I hope everybody will download this song, Stand on His Promises. And I'm not going to hold her long because I know her phone is really overheating. So we're going to not hold you long.
Nope, not at all. I'm looking forward. And yes, please check us out. Time, Talent, and Treasure, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. You can watch it on my website, www.tamikapattonmusic.com. And please follow us on our YouTube channel as well. Please follow us on Instagram. I love to hear from you. I answer all of my inboxes. It's such that's the fuel that keeps me going. So if the music is blessing you, I would love to hear from you. So please connect with us today. And I pray that Stand on His Promises is a blessing to you. Check out the video also on YouTube. And yep, Miss Cindy, I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm
Yeah.
not going to keep popping in and out with this phone, but I thank you so much again for the invitation. God bless you
Thank you.
guys.
Love you much.
Love you too.
Okay. Have a
All
good night.
right. You too. Bye bye.
Good night, everyone.